So Dee, we'll move on and show people how this works. We're really excited that we have two separate and unique compensation plans. Our driver referral program is literally just for drivers who want to get paid in addition to the act of driving, right? I've already explained that, on just referring other drivers who drive for Joyrides. And then there's our independent marketing reps compensation plan, where people can get paid for referring both drivers and passengers. You know, one little note that on the driver referral program, drivers are just getting paid to refer drivers. They're not getting paid when there's commissions on passengers. You need to be a rep to do that. You know, I had this discussion with some people today, and they were like, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, that we as a company, from the moment we made the decision to go down this path and create this company, it was going to be about the drivers. The drivers out there have been underpaid and underappreciated for far too long, quite frankly. And so we've built a company that is about the driver, built for the drivers and by the drivers. And everyone who's, we've done a lot of focus groups with drivers, Daryl, and they're all very appreciative. To become a driver with Joyrides is a $29 application fee. And, you know, just this is something that is new to a lot of drivers, because the two big ones out there, Uber and Lyft, they don't charge for an onboarding or application. With us as a new company, we kind of like the idea of somebody having a little skin in the game and really taking pride in being a part of this. And in addition, I mean, we're always a transparent company. This is going to help us as a young company with the onboarding of motor vehicle records and criminal background checks, because it's extremely expensive by state, by county, by city. Everywhere around the country, it's different. And so, Daryl, I know that every driver you and I've talked to doesn't even bat an eye at this when they see the compensation and how they can get paid by leveraging time. And that's what, you know, I told these guys this morning, there's nothing better than getting paid when you're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's true, Brian. And that's an annual fee, that $29. And that does for an extensive background check. As Brian said, motor vehicle registration, all those things in there is what that's for. So that's a annual fee for the drivers. And again, if you're an IMR and you want to become a driver, then you sign up as an IMR, and you can also sign up as a driver. So that's available to you as a driver. I mean, as an IMR too, that you can become a driver. But everyone has to pay the $29.
Yeah, you know, on that page that showed all three, the driver, the passenger, and the IMR, are meant to say that drivers never have to be IMRs. They can just drive. IMRs never have to drive. They can just be IMRs. Passengers can just be passengers. But there's going to be a lot of people who choose to be all three, and a lot of them will be two of the three at least, right? Yes. So we're going to give you just kind of a basic overview of how the driver referral program works. And we'll use Joe here as an example. So Joe's a current driver. He decides he wants to drive for Joyrides, and he just refers a few other drivers that he knows. Hey, there's a new company. I'm going to drive for them. Why don't you come drive for them too? It'll be as simple as those 5 drivers that you see that are personal referrals to Joe. When they download the Joyrides driver app, they'll put in Joe's either his J number, which is an account number, or his cell phone number, and then they'll be linked to him, and then so on and so forth, as those drivers are referring others. And the example I gave some of the drivers I spoke with this morning, Daryl, is those 5 guys or ladies that Joe has referred. Do you think they're going to refer others so that Joe makes money? No, they want to get paid on the driver referral program as well. And that's what makes this really clean and simple, is that people are going to here pretty soon love the idea of everybody kind of in a synergistic way, knowing that they're helping each other. But at the end of the day, they're referring people so they can get paid. And so the question always is, well, how does the payment work on the DRP, the driver referral program? Whenever a ride transaction takes place, when a ride occurs, right, from point A to point B and comes to a stop, there's a CRV that we apply to it. CRV stands for commissionable ride value. And of that fare, the fare being that what the customer just paid for that ride, you know, there's portions that get paid out to the driver for just driving, right? But on each of those, there's a CRV, and the drivers get a percentage of that CRV, as do the reps, right? Because they're helping us market the company. But these drivers, you can see, it can be pretty lucrative over time. And I'm going to show you an example. So let's remember Joe, the example of Joe who shared this with 5 drivers. You see there on the top of that grid on the left, it says the drivers referred by the driver. So if Joe, who you saw in the graphic, referred those 5 drivers that you saw. And let's just say Joe, he currently drives, 60, 70 times a week. I talked to one of the drivers this morning. He says he drives, 80 to 100 times a week. And I said, okay, well, let's be conservative and just talk about 50 rides. And, most drivers will tell you that a full day is about 20. Part-timers will do about 10 to 15 in a day. So this is a really conservative number. Well, through those 3 levels, if you see the referral levels on the left, it says there's Joe's 5 that he referred. And if those 5 just went and did the same thing, Joe is going to earn a commission on 3 levels of growth. And if you look over to the right, there's that 10%, 2%, and 5% that you see from what I showed you on the other page. Now look back over to the left in green where it says average CRV per ride. In this scenario, we're using $1 as the CRV for this ride or these rides, right? That's kind of a good basis point if you want to try to figure out. Certainly the math's easier, Daryl, right? 10 cents, 2 cents, 5 cents. But what's amazing is when I said I love the idea of getting paid when I'm nowhere to be found, right? True passive income is getting paid when you're sleeping. Well, here's just a very conservative example of $362 a week. Now, in a month, that's over $1,400. And what's great about it is it's what you've said all along, Daryl. We're not asking anybody to get out of their comfort zone. In this example, Joe was already driving his 50 plus rides per week, right? And what did he do? He referred 5 drivers and had them go do the same thing. And we pay our commissions every single Friday. Our weeks, our qualification periods are Monday through Sunday. And so the following Friday, these checks, or not paid in checks, this money will be downloaded basically to their account, right? And when drivers realize, so I can get paid when I'm not driving, it really hits home, Daryl. And this is where we're so excited about what makes us different for the driver.
Yeah, this is the really cool, impactful part here. And I want to go back and just kind of, I go through it again. Like, let's say Brian is the IMR. And I know most people in this group are IMRs looking to become an IMR. Under this scenario, let's say Brian is the IMR and I'm the driver. Okay. I'm Joe.
You're Joe.
I'm Joe. And I went out, what did I do? I'm a driver. I want to keep driving, but I referred 5 people. And through that, I made an additional, on top of the drives and time that I've spent as a driver, I made $362 that week. And so what's really cool about this, when you start seeing the other side of this, so Brian, the IMR, just sponsored me. He just got me as a driver. That's all I did. I asked to become a driver. I love driving. That's what I did. And I became a driver. When you take this part of it and start adding it to what Brian sees on his side as the IMR, is really start to change. And this really hit home for me. And I get it. We've been doing it for so long for us. I was talking to the guy the other day. He didn't know. All of a sudden, when it hit him, he's like, wait a minute. So if I'm the IMR and this happens, what does it mean to me? We will go through this here in a second.
Yeah.
It started to hit. That's when it started to click about this here. This is what makes it so different out there. Anything you've seen, especially in the direct sales space, is this part of it, because the driver, his leverage of what he's getting from this, but how it's also compensating for the IMR who referred the driver.
Right. And we'll remember Joe's name as the one who started this driver referral group. Right. Yep. So you mentioned IMRs. And again, what is exciting about this is the ability to get paid when drivers drive and riders take a ride. Right. And you see one of our favorite phrases here. We think it's fair to share the fare. And as you can see, the fare is being shared with pretty much that whole collaboration of people. $329 is what it normally is to become an IMR, independent marketing rep. We are pre-launching with a special of $249. And this is I guess the thing that we love the most. Daryl mentioned the IMR being paid in addition to whether you're the driver who's an IMR or just an IMR. And where we really excited about this compensation is that it's going to pay, you see the word driver and passenger, it's going to pay 2 different lineages, right? And to the best of our knowledge, until the rideshare world, we don't know that that's really taking place in a direct selling company, that on this transaction, 2 different lineages, we've split the money to really make it a part of everybody. Everybody wins. So the first thing the computer is going to say when this car comes to a stop, it's gone from point A to point B, the ride is over, the ride is taking place, the transaction is completed. The computer is going to say, well, which IMR referred this driver. So the example Daryl gave you earlier, if I was the IMR and Daryl, who was Joe in that picture, was Joe the driver, then I would earn 10% of the CRV because of Joe's driving in this actual transaction. And the other neat thing about our compensation is there's a 4-level unilevel payout. And Daryl, I was sharing with some people, it might keep folks up at night and not be able to sleep when they start doing a little bit of math on those 5s and 8s and 10s, because our leadership gets paid as well. And we were excited years ago on getting paid on a utility that was paid once a month. And one of the drivers I talked to today drives, he does 100 plus rides in a week, right? So you can start to do some math, and I really believe what I told them is for the people who have a long-term vision and think beyond right here, and they think out in the distance, that when we're out of Dallas, Fort Worth, out of Texas, in multiple states and in other countries, you saw the statistics earlier on what Uber and Lyft are doing. We'll never have to be that big for this to be very lucrative for a lot of people and a very strong company. And those 5 cents, 8 cents here and there will the magnitude of it will be huge. I'm going to click this button one more time and I'll let you jump in after I bring it all up. Notice that when that comes to a stop, the computer says, well, who's the referring IMR of the passenger? So this whole lineage going from the passenger gets paid. And notice that that's 25% of the CRV. So if the CRV is $1 in this example, there's 25 cents. I'm going to have Daryl tell you, what was behind us wanting to put the most money in our ride transaction commissions into that passenger to the referring IMR. You'll see that when I talked about 2 different lineages getting paid, that beyond that 25%, everything else is the same in both lineages. And, one thing, Daryl, before you talk about the theory behind what we're doing here, what's not being shown here, and we'll wait to more extensive compensation plan details, is that we're paying out a 2nd generation and a 3rd generation at the higher rank. That is unheard of in the industry, to be able to do that, when you start in a company. We're doing it both on commissions and on ride transaction bonuses. So just something to keep in the back of your mind, that there's more than you're seeing here. But yeah, why don't you tell them, our theory when we got together about the 25%.
Yeah, I'll touch on that. I think it was important for us to see what's going on in the industry and direct sales and everything else. But we wanted someone out there that was truly in their comfort zone. Hey, all I want to do, and we see this I've seen this a lot of time in my career. They don't, they're not, well, they said, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to talk to people, but I like to refer the product, the service, whatever. And so we want to put the most amount of compensation at that level, that if someone want to go out there and just refer passengers to take a joyride, that they would get the highest possible earnings. And so that was important to us. A lot of times you see this where the most amount of money is paid to the top person who built it on so many levels, and it's not going to the person that did the work, the person that actually went out there. Not saying that everyone who participates is doing the work. That's what you're paid to do, is help. Everyone's helping together. But the person that initiated it is getting the highest reward here of 25%. So I go out and tell someone, hey, go out there and take a joyride. Me, the referrer of that person, who gets 25% of that CRV because I did that. And also, to make sure, another point, I just want to make sure, sometimes I don't think about it, but like levels. If I sponsor Brian as an IMR, he'd be on my 1st level. If Brian sponsors Kevin, his brother, that would be on Brian's 1st level, be on my 2nd level. And if Kevin introduced it to Sue, then it would be on my 3rd level. Okay. And then if Sue introduced it to Becky would be on my 4th level. So that's how the levels kind of work there. If you're looking at that, for people who don't understand that, who are new to this, that's how levels work. And that's the kind of the unilevel aspect of what we're calling this. And we'll show the leadership positions here in a second. Yeah,
absolutely. So this is again, commissions paid when a ride takes place. Best way to just break it down very simply. The business starts when a new IMR gets qualified by getting their fast start. Now, again, we're in pre-launch mode, so I want to make sure people don't think they got to go do this today. We are not live taking rides yet. We'll wrap up the webinar today and give you kind of our chronology of time that's going to take place. But just so you know, the simplicity of getting your fast start bonus qualified, we're basing things on a point system, and the points come from rides, as you can imagine. And when you start your business, you see up on that text that you need 30 personal qualified points, or PQPs, in your first 28 days. Well, notice on the left, it says a passenger's first ride is 5 points and a driver's first ride is 20 points. That's first ride for when you enroll them, right? You're the person, the IMR, who enrolled them by them downloading the app and putting in your information. That when that passenger takes that first joyride, or that driver takes his or her first joyride, then you're going to get points for that. And you can see how, just in this example, picking up 30 points would be rather simple to get your business started. Now, the neat thing about it is, notice it says that it needs to be from 3 unique drivers or passengers. That means that it can't just be one person who does a lot of rides. The example we have here is just a mix of a couple passengers and a driver, but those 3 unique passengers or drivers don't have to all be, when you're first getting started. You're going to share this with a lot of people, but if it happens rather quickly that maybe the first person you talk to is a driver, and he or she has 20 drives, or their first drive rather quickly, which picks you up 20 points, and then they've already started their driver referral program and they have 2 other drivers, you can see that those 20s represent 3 unique, or 3 different people that will help you accumulate your fast start points. And Daryl, one thing for us to talk about here is, when people see this example, one of your unique individuals, as we're saying, can be you, right?
One of them.
If you're a driver and you sign up as an IMR, you get to count yourself as your driver, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, just if you're just take a little bit further here. If you're an IMR and you're a driver, and more likely you're a passenger too, that you're just one unique. You can't be a unique driver and a passenger. So you can be one of them, but you can't be both of those in that scenario for that aspect of the compensation plan.
Right. So just knowing that, you can see again that getting your business started and earning that fast start bonus of $25 is just you doing what IMRs are doing for our company. Again, the name is Independent Marketing Rep. You're the marketing arm for this company to get the word around the country. And then as you share the business with other people who'd like to start their own business, obviously the gig economy, people are finding multiple ways to earn income out there. When you help people get started in business, as long as you help them trigger their fast start in their first 28 days, you earn a $75 business builder bonus. So you can see that those bonuses, now these are one-time ride transaction bonuses paid to you for helping someone else get started, right, after you do the same. And so it's money that helps you get moving while you're out building a team of people, or out accumulating passengers and drivers. Again, Daryl, we'll do a deep dive on people understanding this, but I like people to get just a quick peek at the fact that you start off as a rep, and then we have 4 leadership positions that people can rank advance to by doing what? Ultimately, getting more passengers and drivers. That's what your role is for our company. Those bonuses that we showed you when you are actually out finding other people who want to earn income, well, if you're one who likes to build a team, then you have the ability to teach and train others to build a business and be compensated for helping them, right? Nothing better than mentoring others, but it's nice to get compensated for doing so. You notice the term open line on the left. This is a really important thing to understand. I know there's people who've probably been in coded comp plans or binary comp plans. You know, every comp plan out there has its warts, and you can pick them all apart. We feel we've put together the best of the best, and with an open line, you have the ability to earn by helping others. And when somebody rank advances, instead of having to leave them behind, right, like in a coded comp plan, or make things even through a binary, in an open line, when you rank advance, you don't have to start all over again. You actually can begin getting paid more for what you've already started, right? So Daryl, when it says, let's just use regional director for an example, it says an additional 25. If somebody has a huge organization that's got a lot of growth and they're an area director and they promote to regional director, instead of having to then just start all over again, they get to unlock more money on what's already taking place going forward, right? That's a good way I've had that's helped people see it. You just unlock more on what you've already built and what happens from that day forward. You're not starting all over again with a whole new group of people. You get to bring those people with you. If that's another good visual.
Well, yeah, it's a great point. And I think the other point that really hit home for me, because that's the first time I've looked into this open line, is, from where I come from, like, well, I'll wait, until I put my best people in as I reach these higher codes. That's not this one at all. This is where you want to put your best people in day one, because you'll unlock every time that you rank up those people. As they move up, you're moving up, and you're unlocking it every single time. So that idea of holding off somebody is taken out here.
Yeah, you're not penalized for bringing everybody all at once. You want to build strong and fast.
Yeah, yeah. I know, Brian, I just because of our history here, we used to do this with electricity back in the early 2000s. And, I know this is how important this money, because this is what got you going, because you didn't see return on your monthly, the residual aspect of it, because it was 90, 120 days, and it was very small at the very beginning. With us, the residual side kicks in very fast, because as soon as you sign up, take a driver, a passenger, as soon as they take a ride, you're getting paid on that. But so this is a great aspect that we've continued to have here, and you help somebody, because this is what this is kind of your job as a leader out there, to guide someone, help them get off to a great start. It's very simple. Hey, what do? Go out there and find some passengers and drivers who go out there and provide drives for people through joyrides and trigger the money and get paid like this. But the residual side is kicking at the same time as you're helping these people get off to a great start. And so it also, we didn't want to have like 8 or 12 different, leadership positions. We'll have some more out there. We've already been talking long term. I mean, believe me, we didn't think short term. We've talked long term. Like, what do we look like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? But we also wanted people like, man, I'll never get there. I'll never reach that level. So that's why we want to start off at the morning of these 4 positions that people are attainable, people can get there and get off to a great start. Again, these are paid weekly. If someone goes out there and hits their fast start, gets off to a great start, they get their $25, and because you helped them get off to a great start, you can get paid from $25 up to $100, depending on where you fall in this line.
Yes, that's great. And beyond the weekly thing, on the bonuses, Daryl, you mentioned we have no washout check the next month. Our ride commissions and our ride transaction bonuses all paid every single Friday. So there's no having to wait a long time for your money, which is nice.
Right.
Our virtual office, very quickly, this is, as it's called, the virtual office. I mean, this will help you run your business. The dashboard is amazing. Your website's amazing. And the Zoom account, we're on a Zoom right now, is great. So this first pre-launch period, again, we don't do things by the month. Everything is by 4-week cycles. So the first billing cycle, we're only charging $9.95 for the dashboard, because obviously all the reports aren't up and running because we're not live yet for passengers, right? And so we did know that people are going to want to do Zooms to build their team. So we wanted to make this accessible to you. Just so you have an understanding, this Zoom account that you're receiving has about a $250 a month value.
How much?
That's a Zoom quote that not coming from Daryl and I. You're getting the ability to have a 500 participant video meeting. What we're doing here today is a webinar. If you did a meeting, you could literally have the pictures you see of Daryl and I. You could have every single person on there, getting to see their faces and communicate with each other. Great for prospecting to show somebody the business, and it's great for team meetings, whether if you do those weekly or whatever it might be. So we're really excited about the virtual office. Here's a look at your website. There's actually 3 different skins, as they call it. So every time you refresh, you're going to probably see a different look to the website, which is really fun. The dashboard, the home page, you'll see already has a lot going on. And those reports and all of the things that will be in your dashboard, if you've chosen the virtual office to pay the subscription, are immense. There'll be a time in the not too distant future where you'll probably have a report you can pull up, and Daryl, this is your favorite, where you might see all of the cars driving around that you're getting paid on in your organization. That'll be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Hey, it's fine. For last time we did this, I guess they didn't have a lot of people on this call, I'm sure, have access to this now, and they can start looking at their teams and everything else. I would highly encourage you, go there and play around. There's things you can do in there. You can go in there and